Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Lessons. Today, an intro to guitar crash course for the absolute beginners. I'm going to be showing you how to play the 8 essential open position chords. These are chords that you can apply to thousands of different songs. In addition to that, I'll be showing you some progressions that use those chords and some very useful strumming techniques. I have a PDF study guide for you at patreon.com/swiftlessons, where if you support the channel for just $1 a month, you can gain access to tabs for all my popular YouTube guitar lessons. Now, let's get started with your lesson. Okay, close look at the fretboard and also my pick in hand. We're getting started with section number 1 of this lesson. In this section, we're going to learn the common open position chord shapes. These are chords that are played right here on the first 3 frets and feature open strings. Those are strings that don't have any fingers on them. One of the things I want you to keep in mind is that we're going to be learning a lot in this lesson, and it's probably a little bit more than most beginners can handle in one session. So plan to take a little bit of this lesson chunk by chunk over the course of several different sessions. Okay, the first chord that we're going to learn is called C major. Okay, using the chord diagram on the screen, I have my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and my pointer finger right here on the 1st fret of the B string. I strum from the A string down, including my open G and the open high E strings. C major. Okay, the next chord that we're going to have is called A major. I stack my fingers in a line. My middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the D string. The ring finger is underneath that, 2nd fret G string. And the pinky is right here on the 2nd fret of the B string. I'm strumming from the A string, that's the open A string down. Now, if you're watching some other videos, you're going to see some players playing it in a few different positions. Okay, the most beneficial way to play it, in my opinion, is to take your middle finger and put that one uppermost on the D string 2nd fret. A major. Okay, moving right along, we have the chord G major. So many songs are going to start off with this chord. G major. So here, the ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the low E string. The middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string. And the pinky is here on the 1st string, high E. G major. Again, this is another chord where you're going to see a lot of guitar players playing it differently. The position that I'm showing you right now is the most beneficial way of playing the G chord because there's lots of different variations from this position. Okay, so G major chord in the open position. Okay, your next chord is called E major. In this chord, I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, the ring finger is underneath of that, and the pointer finger is on the 1st fret of the 3rd string G. E major. Okay, and your final major chord that we have to learn, totally essential, the D major chord. This is a 4-string chord. I have my pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. The middle finger is on the 2nd fret of the high E. And the ring finger is on the 3rd fret of the B string, the 2nd string there. And I strum from the open D string down for the D major chord. Okay, congrats everybody. You have your basic major chord shapes down. You've learned the C, the A, the G, the E, and the D major chord. Now, if you look at all the names of those chords, you'll notice that it spells out the word caged, C-A-G-E-D. Always remember that. Your essential open position chord shapes spell out that word. Now we're going to move on to learning some minor varieties. Okay, now jumping into our minor chord shapes. The first one we're looking at is called A minor. Okay, I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. The ring finger is on the G string 2nd fret, so they're kind of stacked. And then the pointer finger is on the 1st fret of the B string. And I'm strumming or picking from the A string, the root, down. Okay, A minor chord. One of the ways I used to remember this chord is it's just my E major chord shape going down to the floor one string. A minor. Okay, the next chord that we need is E minor. Just take that E major chord that you learned before and take the pointer finger off. So, middle finger, 2nd fret of the A string, the ring finger, 2nd fret of the D string. Then we're strumming from the low E, the root, down to the high E. This is E minor. Okay, your final chord shape that you absolutely have to know is D minor. I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. My ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. It's your 2nd string. And your pointer finger is on the 1st fret of the high E string. Okay, the chord is called D minor, which means that you strum from the D string down. D minor. Okay, now let's review all the chords you've learned so far. Going through our major chords once again, we had the C major chord. The fingers have to be arched. We need plenty of pressure. And if you're still not getting those notes to ring clearly, I suggest pulling back with the arms and pressing your chest into the back of the guitar a little bit for just a little extra pressure. All right, the A major chord, stacking your fingers. Strumming from the A string down. Thumb nice and low behind the neck. We have the G major chord. Some of you might find that your pinky just can't reach that high E string, so I suggest that you practice stretching that pinky down, so that way you'll be able to reach. Okay, we'll take lots of repetitions. We had the E major chord, the D major chord, peace sign to the triangle. See how it makes that triangle shape? Then we got into our minor chords, the A minor chord. Again, the fingers nice and arched, so that way you're not blocking the other strings below. We had the E minor and the D minor chord. Okay, very common problem that people have with the D minor chord is the ring finger blocking the high E string. So you don't want to have your fingers down, you want to have them nice and up and get on the tips of the fingers for the D minor. Alright, now that we have all of these essential chord shapes down, let's learn some chord progressions that are used in thousands and thousands of different songs. Alright, congrats everybody, you've learned the 8 essential open position chords. That's a huge step forward to achieving your goal of becoming a confident guitar player. If you're not quite ready to jump into progressions, you might want to just practice jumping back and forth between those chords individually, building the muscle memory. It really does take a lot of time, patience, and repetition to get these chords down, so if you're not getting it instantly, don't worry about it, it's perfectly normal. Okay, getting started with your first chord progression. It's called the 1-6-4-5 pop chord progression in the key of G. Those numbers 1, 6, 4, 5 refer to the major scale, in this case the key of G. If that doesn't make any sense to you and you want to learn a little bit more about music theory, then click on the video up there in the corner via that card. It's going to be a very beginner-friendly introduction to music theory, the essentials of music theory. Okay, so this chord progression sounds like this. The G major chord, we're going to strum that 4 times. The E minor, 4 times. The C major chord, and the D major chord 4 times. The 1, 6, 4, 5 progression in the key of G. You're going to take that nice and slow. Just practice through those chords, get them down. Once you have that down, you're ready to get into a little bit of strumming on that chord progression. For this progression, I'm going to show you 2 different strumming techniques that you can use in thousands of different songs. With the G major chord fretted, the first one is called the pop strumming pattern, sometimes called the calypso pattern. Sounds like this. Okay, just over the G chord there. So that was down, down, up, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, up. All right, the pop strumming pattern. Sometimes you have to practice saying it aloud, in rhythm, down, down, up, down, up. Or practice it on dead strings. Just covering up the strings, not pressing at all, dead fishing them to get the pattern down. Once you have it, try applying it to each of the 4 chords in this progression. Okay, it might sound choppy like that at first. Eventually, jump. You'll be able to make the chord changes by the downstroke. You can leave a little early on that last upstroke. Jump. Thousands of different songs. And if you like the way that sounds, I suggest you check out my lesson on Stand By Me, super easy, beginner-friendly guitar song, or maybe my lesson on Last Kiss. I really like the Pearl Jam cover of that song. Okay, and these are also tunes that are featured in my beginner guitar songbook as well. Okay, now let's get on to another strumming pattern that you can perfect. Okay, getting started with your next strumming pattern. This one we're going to call the alt rock pattern. It's actually split between 2 chords because it's 8 beats long. It's going to sound like this, going from G to E minor. One more time. Okay, so on the G chord, we strum down, 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 up, down. Then on the E minor chord, we're going to strum up, down, down, up, down, up. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. You can try it from C to D. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. All right, now going through the entire chord progression real slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's a little bit more advanced. Okay, great everybody. You have 2 very useful strumming patterns over the pop chord progression. I would suggest that you mix all that information up. Take those chords, put them in different combinations, and try to make a song of your own. I think that songwriting provides one of the fastest and most effective ways to excel on the guitar. Now, moving on to our next progression. Progression number 2 is a 1-4-5 12-bar blues in the key of A major. We're going to have our A major chord for 16 beats or 4 measures. Then we'll have the D major chord for 2 measures, okay, 8 beats. Then we're back to the A major chord for 2 measures, 8 beats. Then we're going to have the E major chord for 1 measure, that's 4 beats. The D major chord for a measure, that's 4 beats. And then we're back to the A major chord for 8 beats to wrap it up. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, A. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, D chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to the A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the E chord. 1, 2, 3, 4 to the D chord. And then you're back to the A major chord for 8 beats. Okay, so practice that 12-bar blues. That's really a super essential thing that every guitar player, every musician really should be able to play. What I would like for you to do on the rhythm side of things is practice playing through that progression with swinging eighth notes, okay? That means you're just going down and up, but it's gonna have a little bit of what we call syncopation involved. Okay, so it's not robotic like down, up, down, up, down, up, chopping away. It's gonna swing. Just like that. The 16 beats on the A chord. And then the 2 measures on the D chord. Going back to the A. To the E chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to the D. And back to the A. For 2 measures. Just like that. Okay, now we're moving on to progression number 3, the minor 1-4-5 8-bar blues in the key of A minor. So we're putting our minor chords to work now. We're gonna need the A minor chord, that D minor chord, and that E minor chord to perfect this progression. So the way the progression is gonna roll, we'll have 8 beats of the A minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll have 8 beats of the D minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we'll have 8 beats of the E minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Followed by 4 beats of A minor, 4 beats of E minor to wrap things up. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Super essential chord progression. Okay, so memorize that chord progression. I really can't express to you how important it is that you memorize both an 8-bar and a 12-bar blues in their standard form. It's just something that's going to keep coming back again in jam sessions, in studio work, and probably in your own original work as well, so really get that down. Once you have the progression memorized and the changes comfortable, as always, then you can get into a little bit of rhythm practice. This is the last technique I'm going to show you for today, and it's called the root strum pattern. Okay, it's just what I call it. Over the A minor chord, it would sound like this. With counting 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So with this technique, we're striking the root of whatever chord it is that you're working with. Since I'm on an A minor chord, I'm going to strike the A string, open, then down up on the second beat. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. This takes a little bit of accuracy, so lots of repetitions with that strum in hand. Now let's try it on the D minor chord. Just move the pick down to the D string since we're on a D minor chord. Alright, then we have the E minor chord. Let's try it there. Now we gotta switch the pick to the root of the E minor chord. Open, low E. Okay. Now, I want to go through the entire chord progression since we've tried it on each of those 3 chords. So remember, we have 2 measures of A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, D minor. E minor. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. 2 and 3, 4 and A minor, 2 and 3, 4 and E minor, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and, for a nice spooky way of strumming through a 8-bar minor blues in the key of A minor. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this beginner guitar lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much to my supporters at patreon.com/swiftlessons for making these lessons possible. I got many more coming up, so keep checking back. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.